Coming up on JetLife, CJ Mosley's mic'd up against the Eagles. We break down the upcoming matchup against the Saints, and rookie cornerback Michael Carter II sits down to answer your Twitter questions on this week's Twitter Talk. That and much more coming right up.
And we welcome you to a new season of New York Jets football. Fires one up the seam, and he's got a connection. At the goal line, the push into the end zone. Yes, that's a Jet touchdown.
Jets fans, what's going on? Welcome to another episode of Jet Life right here in the BetMGM studios. But let's go back to last Sunday against the Eagles. That was the Jets' My Cause, My Cleats game, where players get to wear custom cleats to represent different charitable organizations that hit close to home. And for both Quinnen and Quincy Williams, well, they represented the American Cancer Society in honor of their mother who passed away from breast cancer.
All right, guys, so what is your cause and why is it important to you?
Our cause is American Cancer Society and breast cancer awareness. So we chose to do that cause just because our mom passed away from breast cancer first and foremost when we was little kids. And it was one of the first things when I got drafted, I know when he got drafted, to become American Cancer Society ambassador, just to reach out to them and see how we can use our platform to do anything that they needed us to do. So,
do you guys have any particular design ideas or anything that you want?
Partnering with the American Cancer Society, I kind of want American Cancer Society type colors, and also the reason why we wear them, which is also, which is my mom for sure. So losing my mom to breast cancer was very huge for us, and it actually opened our eyes to make awareness of like breast cancer is real and it affects everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to do something really special for you guys. Obviously, incorporate the American Cancer Society colors, red and blue. Breast cancer awareness is obviously a big thing with you guys, so I'd like to incorporate some pink, the breast cancer awareness ribbons, and then throw in some special things for you guys that I'll figure out along the way.
All right, that sure sound like we got a plan.
All right, thanks guys. Appreciate your time.
All right, thank you. Thanks. Hey, Grandma, what's good?
Hey, Quinlan. I'm glad. I'm so proud of you all. Keeping your mom in your mind and thoughts. It's a blessing. Thank you.
So with doing that, the reason why we picked the American Cancer Society to partner with, because like Quinlan said before, number one, they're big on just finding awareness of cancers and stuff, and breast cancer is real dear to our heart. The reason why we partner with them also is to help the family members around the person who's going through it.
Keeping awareness about breast cancer itself, and then everyone be aware and do testing in advance and everything to make sure they can keep up on their health. Love you.
Love you too.
Also last week against the Eagles, we were able to go inside the huddle with one of the team's 5 captains. So here's CJ Mosley in this week's Mic'd Up.
I need to feel your energy today from start to finish. From start to finish. Let's work. Let's work, baby. 4 quarters. Let's finish on 3. 1, 2, 3. Hey, I'm 12. Hey, I'm mic'd up. I ain't know. I'm 12. Any secrets you want, come to me. Yes, sir. Let's go, let's go. 32, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Got him. And we talking every play. We talking every play. There we go. Hey, like it's a normal ball. They need 2 yards for field goal range. So let's play our. Oh, God. Oh. There we go, Quincy. There we go. There we go. Yeah. Yeah. There we go, 50. There we go. Hey, good baby.
Welcome back to Jet Life here in the BetMGM studios. It's time For the top moment of the week, one of my favorite parts of the show. And coming in at number 3, Gardner Minshew looking for Devontae Smith in the end zone. But Bryce Hall says, I don't think so. Great coverage here from Bryce Hall. It hits him in the rib. And also, you got to represent the heat on the feet. Just want to point out the 2 different color shoes. Because coming in at number 2, more heat on the feet. Just a great play. Zach Wilson finds Elijah Moore in the back of the end zone. More like 8-ball back pocket. There is no back pocket in pool. This was the first touchdown between Zach Wilson and Elijah Moore this season. 5 receiving touchdowns in 5 games for Elijah Moore. And coming in at number 1, Braxton Berrios like a shot of espresso in the morning, opening up the game with a 79-yard kickoff return. Also, just got a shout out, go vote for Braxton Berrios as the return specialist representing the AFC, but that is your top moment of the week. As if it were out of a Hollywood script, running back Austin Walter made his Jets debut against the Texans, and the Crosby, Texas native scored his first NFL touchdown in front of friends and family. So let's take a deeper dive with Walter in this week's One Jets Drive Wheels Up, presented by JetBlue.
So I grew up in a small country town right outside of Houston, Texas called Crosby. We just loved football growing up. My dad, all his brothers played football, so everybody in my family, my cousins, everybody's just football is who we are.
The payoff of Walter's efforts was showcased in front of dozens of family and friends. But absent from the crowd was his father, who passed away in 2017.
In 2001, he had a stroke. He had heart failure, diabetes, whole 9 yards. He had a defibrillator in his heart. And essentially that defibrillator, every single time his heart would give out, it would shock him back to life. So he had that from 2001 all the way to 2017. So when you look at it, that's 16 years of what some people call borrowed time, but in my eyes, that's a blessing, you know, just being able to spend all those years with him and all the memories and all the time that we had, even with his, disease. He just always just motivated us and said, hey man, you're gonna do this. You're gonna be the one to make it. He just always believed in me. So I just take all those moments with me. On Sunday, just walking out in that stadium, I would just think if he was here, what would he be doing, Being that was a Houston game, he would have probably had all of his friends there. They'll be sitting in that little section, just having a good old time, just talking about football. So I would just pretend that he's still up there with the whole gang, and he just wants to brag on his kids and just tell the whole world how proud he is of us. So yeah, I just think about that, and I just pretend that he's there every Sunday.
Walter was a key piece in the Jets' most productive rushing performance so far. And in a league that demands tooth and nail effort every single day, every yard deserves celebration.
I was just the whole week, I was like, man, I just feel like something magical is gonna happen. Like something is gonna happen that's very special this week. So when we got closer to the game day, my coach was like, hey man, put yourself in the best position to be up this week. So I just kept working hard. Then he came up to me Saturday at walkthrough, he was like, congratulations, you're up this week. And I was like, man. First thing I did when I called my mom, my grandma, and they just started crying tears of joy. So it was a really exciting moment. My mom, she knows how hard I worked to get to this moment. Everything that I've been through in my career, I just never gave up. So to finally get news that big, it was just like a sigh of relief for all of us. Like, man, if you just believe in yourself, everything will work itself out. So, yeah.
All right, I know it's late at night, but it is time for some trivia, and this time I'm handing the ball off to our new team reporter, Caroline Hendershot, who is now officially a part of the JetLife family. So with that, Caroline, take it away.
Thanks, Ethan. Super excited to be here, but let's get into this week's trivia question. In 1986, which Jets wide receiver scored 3 touchdowns in their 28-23 win over the Saints? We'll have the answer for you on the backside of this. Welcome back into Jet Life. If you're just joining us, here's this week's trivia question. In 1986, which Jets wide receiver scored 3 touchdowns in their 28-23 win over the Saints? The answer, Al Toon, who walked away with 6 catches for 101 yards and 3 touchdowns. In addition to My Cause, My Cleats, Sunday's game against the Eagles was the Atlantic Health Heart Care Game, where Atlantic Health System recognizes underlying heart conditions for elite athletes. We were able to sit down with Olympian Priscilla Frederick Loomis and learn more about her story.
Well, the assumption for most young athletes that contract COVID-19 is that they'll bounce back, but that is not the case for everyone.
Yeah, local Olympian Priscilla Frederick Loomis is among that group.
So in January, I got diagnosed with COVID, and it threw my entire life into chaos.
Just waiting to see the doctor, so we'll see what happens.
I was supposed to start competing 5 days later in Czech Republic. And so I had to call my agent and let him know that I had COVID. I had to be, quarantined for the 14 days.
I'm gonna watch some Netflix. I'm gonna take a quick little nap, and then get back to work.
And my doctor had told me, the team doctor that I was working with told me that everything was gonna be fine. I'm an athlete, I'm healthy, I'll be okay, I'll recover and I'll bounce back. And so after the 14 days, I still had no energy. I was still not feeling 100%. I wasn't even feeling 30%. I, tried to push myself and say, I gotta do whatever I need to do, it's Olympic year. Things kind of spiraled out of control after that.
Good, my heart rate just keeps going up to like 180, and I just don't understand why.
I was having really bad heart complications, and it was kind of hard to take deep breaths. I just didn't feel like myself. My mind and my body were not connecting at all. And so after about 2 months, all the tests came back, fine, until I got ordered to get an MRI. And once they saw those results, they said that it didn't look good and that I needed to stop training for the Olympics.
I have to honor it, but I am willing to put myself in a massive amount of danger to make this Olympic team.
What was important about Priscilla was that she competes at an elite level. She's an Olympic athlete who can do things most of us will never be able to understand or really comprehend the amount of work that goes into that. So time is of the essence. When you looked at the data from an athlete's perspective, you could see that these were normal changes of the heart muscle that occur when you compete at the level that she does. Priscilla had all of the changes of a normal physiologic adaptation, and she wasn't at risk.
So for Dr. Martinez to try, to take me on and to help me, I'm super, super grateful, because even though I didn't make the Olympic team, it gave me, so much confidence to understand my body and to keep moving forward in the positive way that I live my life. And so without him, I don't know what would have happened, but he gave me the opportunity to really trust myself, trust my body, and go after it. And so I only missed the Olympic team by 4 spots. So I can't really, be that upset. And to be, top 36 in the world, it's not too bad.
Thanks, Caroline. And I know we talked about Braxton Berrios' return earlier in the show, but let's actually take a closer look at the numbers with senior reporter Eric Allen for this week's Next Gen Stats.
Braxton Berrios is having a solid season at returner, and he almost made a house call last week.
Braxton Berrios, about a yard deep, will bring it out right up the middle of the field at the 10, to the 15, to the 20. He's got a lane.
Berrios set the tone for some early offensive fireworks with a 79-yard kick return to start the game against the Eagles. Berrios ran more than 91 yards, reaching a max speed of nearly 20 miles per hour. The blocking was outstanding, and Berrios picked his hole before cutting it up the home sideline. Justin Hardy, known for his great coverage skills, ran 95 yards on the return and also reached a max speed of nearly 20 miles per hour. Then, following his second quarter touchdown, the Jets kicked off to the Eagles and pinned them deep with outstanding coverage. Jalen Reagor didn't get a good read on the ball, scrambled back to retrieve it, and then was clobbered at the Philly 6. Jeff Smith hit more than 21 miles per hour before making the tackle. The Jets, who are led by Hardy, ranked 3rd in the National Football League in kick coverage. Berrios who got a shout out from his girlfriend on Instagram during the game, came back in the third quarter and had a 32-yard kick return as he covered 40-plus yards and reached almost 19 miles per hour. Heading into Monday Night Football, Berrios led the National Football League with an average of 28.9 yards per kick return and was third in punt return average at 13.6. While the Jets have to clean up their kicking situation, their coverage and return units continue to be strong, and they could play a huge factor here in December.
Welcome back to Jet Life here in the BetMGM studio. Tomorrow, the Jets host the Saints in the second of a two-game homestand. And for a closer look at New Orleans, let's hear from Caroline Hendershot, who caught up with Saints team reporter Aaron Summers.
All right, Aaron, let's jump right into Week 14 here. Taysom Hill was able to start at quarterback last week, but he's battling two different injuries right now. So how do those injuries alter the offense scheme?
It has definitely been a roller coaster as far as injuries go for the Saints this season. It started probably about a month ago now, and Taysom Hill has been one of those people. He missed several games because of a concussion and then was able to come back. In the first game that he was back on the field, he suffered an ankle injury. The Saints made a decision to start with Taysom Hill back in the starting role as the quarterback for the first time since he did it 4 times last season. And he definitely does add a different dynamic because he's so much more mobile and he can use his ability to evade pressure. However, he doesn't necessarily have the same amount of arm strength as somebody like Jameis Winston, our original starting quarterback, had. So it definitely changes up the scheme and the ability that the Saints have to be very balanced. They definitely put more emphasis on the run game, and that also changes if we're able to get other running backs back in this game as well.
I know you mentioned that the offense has been off to a slower start, and we just learned that Deontay Harris will be out for the next 3 weeks, and he's currently leading the Saints with receiving yards. So which players are going to have to step up and get those receptions this Sunday?
So Deontay Harris was a big part of the special teams play. I mean, he was our returner. So it's going to be some other people behind him that have to step up in that regard, not only in the receiving game. Marquez Callaway will be one of those players. And then you have somebody like Little Jordan Humphrey, who stepped up in the last game against the Cowboys and had a career night for him and almost 50 receiving yards and a touchdown in that game. So those are your two options. It is an area that they have been depleted in already, as they haven't had their number one receiver in Michael Thomas all year.
I know your defense has been pretty steady this whole season. What has been making it work so well for the Saints so far?
The leadership on that side of the ball has been huge. Demario Davis, Cameron Jordan, those are players that have been through these types of situations before. For the Saints fans and for a lot of the players, the younger players on the team, they haven't dealt with a losing streak at all. I mean, this is the first time since probably 2005 where they've had multiple games in a row that they've lost. They haven't been hit as hard as the offensive side has. Depending on who is or isn't able to be in the game, Cameron Jordan himself actually was on the COVID-19 reserve list this week. So depending on how some of the tests he took this week turn out, you might be needing somebody to step up on the defensive end.
Aaron, we thank you so much for your time, and we will see you on Sunday.
You already know that we like to end Jet Life with some fun. So with that, rookie cornerback Michael Carter II, we know he's been all over the field his first season in the NFL, but now it's time for you Jets fans to throw your best shot at him with your Twitter questions.
I'm Michael Carter II, and this is Twitter Talk. Favorite Christmas movie? I have to go Four Christmases. Four Christmases is my favorite Christmas movie. Favorite ice cream flavor? Like Haagen-Dazs, strawberry, chocolate chip from Bluebell, or chocolate chip cookie dough from Ben & Jerry's. So that's my top 3 right there. Is water wet? No, water is not wet. You gotta put something in the water and the object is wet, but water itself is not wet. That's my opinion, don't attack me. Breakfast for dinner? Yes, all the time. I think that's a viable option for dinner. And don't let anybody tell you different.
That's all we have, unfortunately, on this episode of Jet Life here in the BetMGM studios. While the Saints may be marching in tomorrow, I'm marching right to bed.